Welcome to Ancient Wisdom. Kantara. Why Kantara grips? Why do we remember Kantara so vividly, so long after we have seen the movie? Why do people go again and again and again to watch this movie? What does Ancient Wisdom say about it? Let's see. There is a very nice book by Robert Pirsig, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. In this book, he says that his son one day comes to him with his friend Red Armor and says to his father, "Dad, Red Armor says ghosts exist. Do they?" And Robert Pirsig says, "Yes, they do." And the son and Red Armor, they go away. One of his friends who is sitting next to him asks, "How did you say ghosts exist? What proof do you have for it? How do you know it is a fact?" And Robert Pirsig said, "As far as Red Armor is concerned, it is his belief. It is his belief that ghosts exist. And so, ghosts exist. What is a fact after all? It is a belief. And most of the facts, if we check, they will come out as beliefs." And one example he gives is, do numbers exist? We talk about hard numbers. We talk about plain numbers. We talk about bottom line numbers. But numbers by themselves do not exist. Number 1 does not exist. Number 2 does not exist. One apple can exist. 2 oranges can exist, but not number. It is after all a belief, very useful belief, but belief after all. So, what is a belief? That exists because that exists in the imagination, and that is why it exists. And this is where the conflict starts. We have had a number of beliefs which, given our environment, given our education system, given our surroundings and what we saw, did and were in, have been suppressed. But we are not comfortable with the burial, and it is somewhere inside us. They are still alive, and all along most of us have either been disguising them, suppressing them, or being apologetic about them. Whereas Kantara brings all these beliefs to the forefront, to the top surface, and is not apologetic about it. This is the reason everyone who goes to the movie sees himself in the common man in the movie, the forest dweller, and not as hero or heroine. One sees oneself as just being there, and then one lives through the variety of conflicts that the characters in the picture go through. What happens when you are a forest dweller? You are living in harmony with nature. Once in a while you are collecting firewood, once in a while you are collecting medicines, and then suddenly government comes in and says all this belongs to the government and you are thieves and robbers, you cannot take anything outside. What happens? What happens When the king himself has given the word and then his successors do not want to keep the word. In a country where the Ramarajya says prana jaye par vachan na jaye, what happens when a forest dweller himself becomes a forest officer? How do you hunt with the dogs and run with the rabbits? Or what happens when the zamindar, under the guise of being benevolent chief, is encouraging destruction of the same forest and its animals? What happens when the forest dwellers are encouraged to not only encroach on the forest but to destroy it rather than living in harmony with nature? And what happens to the beliefs that we are all children of this same nature, and the God which is supreme and which is within us, the divine within all of us, we are not doing what he is commanding. Each one of us knows when we do something wrong, but under the guise of being practical, we tend to suppress it. We tend to not look at it, and or otherwise we turn apologetic about it. These are the beliefs, customs and traditions that this movie brings to the forth, and it tries to ignite the divine that is within all of us. The message, though it is different for different people, one of the top messages is the divine is within you. The traditions have meanings, beliefs have basis, and do continue with harmony with your nature inside and the nature that is outside. That is the way to go, that is the way to sustainable development, that is the way to growth and development in overall nature. And keep your word. And this is the reason why Kantara grips. That is what ancient wisdom says. Namaskar.